It was Christmas Eve in the small town of Spruceton, and Dave had just gotten home from a long day at work. He was exhausted, but there was one thing he had been looking forward to all year: putting up his Christmas tree. Dave took his Christmas spirit seriously. It was his tradition to buy the biggest tree he could find and decorate it with more lights than anyone would dare to try. This year, Dave had outdone himself. He went to Holly's tree farm, which was known for having massive trees, and picked out the largest pine in the whole lot. It was so big that when the farm worker tried to load it into Dave's car, the tree ended up breaking the back window. But Dave didn't care. He was determined to make this Christmas legendary. Back home, Dave struggled to get the tree inside his house. He had a small front door and an even smaller living room, but that didn't stop him. He pushed, shoved, and even tried to bend the tree to fit. After 30 minutes of wrestling, the tree finally made it into the living room, though it was so large that it touched the ceiling and blocked the front door. But Dave was proud. The tree was magnificent, towering over everything else in the room like a giant. Now it was time for the decorations. Dave pulled out boxes of lights, garlands, and ornaments. He was determined to make the tree glow like a Christmas beacon. He started wrapping the lights around the tree, but there was a slight problem. The tree was so big, But Dave wasn't defeated. He ran to the store, bought more extension cords and 3 more sets of lights. This time, he was determined to make it work. After about 4 hours of tangled cords, the tree was finally lit. It was so bright that it could be seen from space. Next came the ornaments. Dave was obsessed with having the perfect ornaments. He had a set of handmade glass ornaments that he bought when he was on a trip to Vienna. These were his pride and joy. They were delicate, beautiful, and way too heavy for the branches. Dave spent the next hour carefully hanging the ornaments, balancing them on the branches with the precision of a surgeon. He stepped back to admire his work, and, for a brief moment, everything looked perfect. Then, without warning, one of the branches snapped under the weight of an ornament. The entire section of the tree collapsed like a domino effect. Ornaments flew everywhere, crashing into the floor, the wall, and even the ceiling. One ornament bounced off the ceiling and landed in his neighbor's yard, where it broke into 1,000 pieces. Dave was almost done. He grabbed the star for the top of the tree, a large, sparkling gold star that he had bought years ago. It was heavy, but Dave thought, "I've got this." He climbed onto a chair, then onto a wobbly ladder, trying to reach the top of the tree. The ladder creaked ominously, but Dave was determined. He stretched, balanced the star in his hand, and leaned forward to place it on the top. At that exact moment, the ladder slipped out from under him. Dave fell backward, landing in a pile of presents. The star went flying, spinning through the air like a flying saucer, and landed squarely on the neighbor's cat. The cat, who had been peacefully napping outside, jumped up in shock and ran straight into a bush, knocking over the neighbor's lawn decorations in the process. Now, you might think that Dave was done, but no. As he finally managed to stand up and dust himself off, he noticed something strange. There was a faint smoke smell in the air. He turned around and saw that one of the lights on the tree had started to smolder. Panic set in. Dave rushed to unplug the tree, but the extension cords were tangled so tightly that he had to yank and pull in every direction. In the process, half of the ornaments fell off, and the tree started to tip over. Finally, with one last desperate tug, Dave managed to pull the plug out of the wall. The tree fell to the side, and a large section of the branches collapsed onto the couch, which was now smoking. Fortunately, the fire was small and easily put out with a nearby towel. Dave sat on the couch, covered in pine needles, broken ornaments, and the distinct smell of burnt rubber. His massive tree was now a pile of charred branches. He looked around at the mess and sighed. Just then, his neighbor knocked on the door. She looked at him, then at the cat, who was still hiding under the bush. "You're going to need a new cat," she said, "but I think you'll need a new tree first." Moral of the story: sometimes bigger isn't better, especially when it comes to Christmas trees. And if you ever decide to go all out on Christmas lights, remember to keep the fire extinguisher nearby.